maybe for the first time in Big Top Sports and Entertainment history, we'll start something on time. Even early, but actually you're early. My name's Connor Colea. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Forward Madison, and one of the partners here at Forward Madison, and one of the partners and founders of Madison Women's Pro Soccer. We're excited to have you all here today. It's an exciting day for women's sports. It's an exciting day for soccer in Madison. When we first launched Forward Madison in 2019, our hope at that time was to have a women's soccer team here in Madison within 3 to 5 years. Well, that was 2019. We all know what's happened. Since 2019, there was a pandemic. I'm not really sure what season we're in here at Forward Madison, but we're about 4.5, 5 years since our launch, and we're excited to be closer to bringing women's professional soccer to Breese Stevens Field. We've been really fortunate with the way the community has supported and connected with the Forward Madison brand. It's been great locally and even globally. We've shipped merchandise to 50 states, 32 countries, and we've developed a brand which has really been based on our amazing supporters and the amazing community support we have here in Madison. Madison's a great women's sports city, and it's a great soccer city. And so it kind of felt like the natural next progression of what we should be doing here will be bringing women's professional soccer to Madison. So today we're announcing our pursuit of women's professional soccer here in Madison. Our hope is to work with the City of Madison. This is a city facility. And our hope is to work with the City of Madison to complete the necessary renovations here at Breese Stevens Field that will allow us to bring professional women's soccer to Madison as early as the fall of 2025. So to tell you more about that and tell you more about our pursuit, I want to introduce my former boss, my current partner, a good friend, and somebody that's kind of become a legend of the Madison sports scene, Vern Stenman.
All right, thank you, Connor. Obviously, I think that a lot of this is building on the foundation that Connor and our team have built here at Breese Stevens Field, and with Forward Madison FC, really giving this historic facility a great purpose for the future. I think that our soccer team has certainly delivered on that, and we're excited to continue to build on that foundation. I love this place. My entire life here in Madison, 23 years now. It's fascinated me, and the history of this place is an outstanding place to build on. One of my favorite stories is an African-American woman by the name of Toni Stone played professional baseball with men here in 1952 with the Kansas City Monarchs when they were barnstorming through with Negro League teams here. And, so many things have happened since before that and even after that, that it feels like the right place to continue to tell stories that are going to matter to not just Madison, but really hopefully the entire state of Wisconsin. We see this team as something that will have a statewide vision and connect primarily through youth soccer throughout the entire state of Wisconsin and really deliver, top-level women's professional sports for the first time in the state of Wisconsin. And that's a really exciting part of this project. And I want to talk a little bit about the league and how we ended up in this league. Connor referenced our supporters, the flock. They've literally been with us every step of the way. They're here today. They were here when we signed our original lease with the city. They were here at our opening events. They've been with us every step of the way. A few years ago, we started a more robust discussion with them about women's soccer here at Breese Stevens Field. It was always part of our plan. And at that time, the options were the NWSL and amateur soccer. And we said, what do you guys think about amateur women's soccer here at Breese as kind of a test to see how popular maybe women's soccer could be? And they said, no, that's not something we would be interested in supporting, primarily because we see it would be difficult for them to support something that is owned by a group that pays their male players and doesn't pay their female players. And we said, that's a great point. and we listened to them like we always have along the way. And watch what happened in the soccer landscape. And obviously today, the USL announced the Super League and its founding markets in their pursuit of becoming a Tier 1 professional women's league. And as we learned more about that over the last 6 months, it felt like the right place for us to go. We think the potential of this league and of this community and of this state is significant and something that we can really build an interesting, national and internationally known story right here at Bree Stevens Field. To get there, we need to do some work. The facility is not up to the standards that we would need to host a Tier 1 women's professional soccer team here. The obvious piece is locker rooms, but more importantly, we need to look at kind of the long-term viability of the facility to make sure that from a business perspective, when we are competing at that top level of women's professional soccer, that we can create a business that is competitive in putting a great team on the field every single year. So there's going to be upgrades, hopefully, to the infrastructure, an increase in capacity, and also trying to figure out how to find a great year-round training facility for our team. It's possible that we launch the team as soon as 2025. I think it's possible it gets rolled back to 2026. We have a lot of work to do in the next year, hopefully, to really understand exactly how we make all the improvements happen to the facility. And we will be working with the city as we proceed. And I want to tell one last quick story. About 2 years ago, probably 2.5 years ago maybe, Connor and I were sitting down with the mayor and telling her a little bit about our vision for women's professional soccer here at Bree Stevens Field. And about halfway through my conversation with her, and I'm giving her my best pitch about why this is a great idea, right? And I'm excited about it like I like to be. And the mayor stops looking at me and starts looking at her phone. And I'm like, oh my God, I've lost her attention. She's not listening to a word that I'm saying to her right now. And I get done with saying whatever I'm saying, and I'm playing all kinds of head games with myself about what I'm making mistakes on. And I say, well, what do you think? And she turns at me with a big smile on her face and shows me a picture of her at the 1999 Women's World Cup final in Los Angeles and says, this is what I think of the potential of bringing women's professional soccer here to Madison. And so I want to bring up the mayor of Madison, Sachi Rhodes Conway, to talk a little bit about our partnership. And I'm excited that we have someone that's not only an advocate for women's sports, but an advocate for soccer as a partner here with the city of Madison. So, Mayor Rhodes Conway.
Yeah, so just so you know, I don't usually look at my phone during meetings. But that one was too good to miss. And I was, in fact, at the World Cup, the famous World Cup where Brandi Chastain threw off her jersey after they won with 90,000 screaming fans at the Rose Bowl. And that was like the high point of being a soccer fan for me. But I've actually been a women's soccer fan since I was an undergraduate. And I had housemates who played soccer for Smith College. And so I am so excited to be here for this announcement of bringing women's professional soccer to the city of Madison. And I want to thank Connor and Vern. I want to thank the USL and the Super League. And I want to thank the flock and all of the fans for insisting that if we're going to have women's soccer in Madison, it's going to be professional. And in fact, that we're going to do it at a higher level than the men's team. And I'm really excited that women's soccer in Madison is going to have the best of the best. So we are, I hope, going to be the first, certainly the first, and hopefully the only professional women's soccer team in the state of Wisconsin. And this club is going to compete at the top tier of the women's game, which means that fans are going to have the opportunity to see some of the best women's soccer players in the country and hopefully in the world right here in Madison. And the team will play here at Bree Stevens, and obviously we're in the heart of downtown. We're close to a lot of amenities. The flock already takes advantage of that, and we're excited by what Forward has done for Brees and for the Capital East District and for Madison's downtown. And I think that having a women's team is just going to amplify that. So I'm really excited about the prospects there and being able to build on the success of Forward Madison. I don't think any of us knew before we brought Forward Madison here how much of a soccer town Madison was. But we certainly know it now, and I'm very excited about the prospects, again, of a women's team. And And, you know, frankly, I'm excited how this builds on the announcement of professional women's volleyball that we had recently. It feels like women's sports are having a moment in Madison, and I'm absolutely here for it. I think it's important that we have, that we reach parity in women's sports and have more professional women's sports, and I think Madison's a great place for that. It certainly builds on UW's record of fantastic women's sports. And so I'm really excited. I think we've got the fan base, and this is going to be just, I can't frankly wait for the, can I kick the first ball? I can't wait for the first game. Let's just leave it at that. But also, it's an opportunity, and Connor referenced this, it's an opportunity for young women all across the state of Wisconsin to not only see themselves playing sports, but to see themselves playing professional sports, and to see that as a potential pathway for them. And that, I think, is perhaps the most important thing here, that young women are going to feel like they have an opportunity in the sports world. And the fact that Madison is entering this league with much larger cities like Phoenix and Washington, D.C., just confirms what we already know. And that is that Madison punches well above its weight as a regional economic and cultural center. And it's a testament, I think, to the appeal of Madison and our record of support for soccer, particularly for Forward Madison. I'm really looking forward to working with Vern and Connor and the league and the club to fill out the details that makes this vision a reality, and to do what we need to do here at Breese-Stevens to land this team. So thank you again to Vern and Connor, and I'm very excited for this prospect. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for being here. And you know, we've been extremely fortunate with Forward Madison to have the best supporters group in all of lower division soccer. The Flock have been amazing the way they support. You hear them every match night here. And just like we did when we kind of started building Forward Madison, we think it's really important that the fans guide what this club should be. When we built Forward Madison, it was the supporters that told us the color should be the blue from the Madison flag. It was the supporters that told us the name should be Forward Madison. The supporters told us it should be FC as a football club as opposed to SC. And we're going to build Madison Women's Pro Soccer the same way. We want the supporters to guide every action of the club and really be the voice of what this club should be doing. We've been meeting with the group, as I mentioned, since the middle of the pandemic via Zoom. I think it was April of 2020 we started, and we've had kind of behind the scenes, closed door dialogue with the group for the last 3 years. So I want to introduce the woman that's been leading that group and leading the women's supporter side of things to say a few words from the supporters' perspective. So please welcome April Kigeo.
This is just an exciting day to think back to 2020 when we were talking about this being a possibility, and then standing in front of Madison Women's Pro Soccer is really exciting. It's also exciting for the community, for equity, for equality, for all those who identify as women to see that they also are able to play at a higher soccer level. I think it's going to help the community engage. I'm really looking forward to helping build a supporters group and working with the club to just bring women's soccer to Madison. And I think this is something that is going to draw a lot of attention to us. We already do have, but we'll essentially just, I think, just kind of wrap our arms around the city. And I'm really looking forward to being a part of it.